So this swimsuit has a beautiful story behind it. I love the story because it exemplifies what I've been talking about this entire time since I've been in Norway and I've been criticized for wearing swimsuits that don't look like the swimsuits most women my age or most women in general wear here in Europe. So I talked about my bikini collection. I was teaching, I think it was 2019. I was teaching a group with only girls. They were going to be nurses, nurse assistants. They were going to be kindergarten assistants. They were training to become something wonderful in life, because that's a very honorable profession, to take care of people, right? And I remember we were doing an activity pertaining to a book. The name of the book was Skills. Those of you who teach English in Norway, and I have been doing so for the past 10, 15 years, at least you will know. I've been teaching English for 36 years. I've got a lot under my belt. And Skills was one of the books that we used. And there was a text in that book called Maybe You Should Know Something About Me. So I encouraged the kids as a pre-reading activity to talk about things that people shouldn't, how do I put it? That's not that people necessarily would tell others, that people wouldn't know just by looking at them. So I started, and I talked about growing up in the United States, going to high school in the United States, and I said one of the trivia, I am so cold, trivia about me. Let me give you some trivia. I have a collection of more than 200 bikinis. I collect them because I used to model beach and gym wear in Brazil. I even did a fashion show where, I'm never gonna forget this. I got some items from that fashion show. The designer gave all the models, and I still have them. The quality was so good. So I talked about that. I talked about bikinis and my collection, and the girls were like, wow. So that became something that they knew about me, and nobody was like scandalized, like, how dare this woman? She is old, she is black, she's not even pretty, she is fat. How dare this woman collect bikinis? Nobody thought that. If they did, they didn't express it. On the contrary, people thought it was quite unusual and interesting, right? So that group had 2 students, very nice girls, who, I almost want to cry thinking about it. Not tears of happiness, of course. These 2 girls gave me this swimsuit for Christmas, and they wanted to give me a gift for Christmas, and they wanted to give me something that I really loved. So they gave me a swimsuit. They were, I think, 17 years old, the girls. Now, if I just tell people, oh, in 2019, a group of students, 2 girls, gave me a swimsuit for Christmas, people are scandalized. Oh, were they sexually interested in you? Were those boys? Were they? No. Swimsuits. They're just like, they're cloth and thread. They are garments that we wear at the beach. Swimsuits, suits for you to swim. And they knew I collected them. And they gave this swimsuit to me. And I hadn't worn it in a while. I wore it back then when I got them. And I got the top and the bottoms. I wore them, but I hadn't worn them in a while, so I wanted to wear them today. This summer I'm trying to wear a lot of swimsuits that I haven't worn in a while. And yes, so swimsuits are not directly correlated with sexual activity. We need to broaden our horizons, and we need to get our minds out of the gutter and stop sexualizing people for collecting bikinis, for wearing them. Stop looking at a woman who's wearing a skimpy swimsuit and think like, oh, she's inviting us to go over there and harass her. We need to broaden our horizons. And I find it very, I'm trying to use my words very carefully. I find it very peculiar, let's go with that word, that in a culture like Norway, in this country, where the culture is to bring your kids to the beach and have them parade naked around the beach with their genitals all out, I find it hypocritical for you to do that and then to turn around and think it's indecent for a woman of any age or body size or a woman of any kind or any ethnicity to wear a bikini of any size. So I find it really strange. So not everybody does this, but enough people do it to where it's common. And I never did it. Skylar always wore a swimsuit to the beach, to the swimming pool. We had swimsuits for her since she was a baby to cover her body parts that I don't want other people looking at. And I feel like if you can be open and feel like it's not sexual for a child to be naked at the beach, it shouldn't be sexual for a grown-up to be wearing a swimsuit. Even if you don't like the swimsuit, even if you don't like the size of it, you don't like the cut, you don't like how it, even if you think she's fat or she's unattractive, she's old, it's none of your business. And it's a given right. Norwegian law gives you the freedom of action and expression. So I talked to a lawyer in Oslo 2 years ago about a certain situation, and they told me that they've been itching for a case where they can defend somebody's right to action and expression. And that entails how you are on social media, right? How you express yourself, how you express your opinions, all of that. And it also includes your right to wear the swimsuit that you want, your right to post what you want on social media, unless of course you're doing OnlyFans or any other type of pornography, then that you shouldn't be doing as a teacher, as an educator. And I'm not doing that. So to treat me like I'm Bonnie Blue or Lily Phillips because of the bikinis I'm wearing is ridiculous. And I'm talking about general opinions. People talking and saying different things. So I'm not going to change how I dress because of people. I'm always covered from head to toe. I don't wear mini skirts or tiny shorts to work. I don't think I've ever worn shorts to work. And I've seen people wear shorts in their workplace in the summer in Norway, like August, September. I've seen people walk around in shorts and in sandals. I once heard from an acquaintance of mine here in Norway, and she said to me, I would never wear sandals. I think it's nasty to show your toes, and I was laughing because when she started to describe it, she was talking about like older men wearing sandals and showing their ugly, nasty toes. And I was thinking, never thought of it, but I would not wear sandals either for different reasons. First, because my feet would freeze, but also, so I don't wear shorts, I don't wear mini skirts, I don't show my midsection. at work or in any inappropriate situation. So I'm just out here living my life. And I am an advocate for body positivity in a way that you have the freedom to wear what you feel comfortable wearing. You have the freedom to do this in Norway. I checked. So, yeah, so this is the story of this bikini that I got as a gift from two girls that were my students, and they thought it was so neat that I collected bikinis. And they decided to give me this one for Christmas.